Still speeding. Hi, everybody. Here's what we learned. You can't stick a suction cup to a windshield that has ceramic coating on it. That's what happened.
Don't ask why I have ceramic coating on it. I just decided to ceramic coat everything.
We get out to look for the camera, and Mike goes, maybe it didn't stick because I have ceramic coating on the windshield. I was like, that's why it came off so fast. Jeez. All right.
Yeah, I got it for free. I'm like, I might as well ceramic coat everything.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very cool episode of the Smoking Tire One Takes. I'm Zach Clapman. I'm very excited about this because I've been wanting to drive one of these cars ever since I saw them in magazines back in the early 2000s. E55 AMG. I'm really excited. This is Mike. Mike, thank you for bringing your car out. Mike emailed me his wheel well page, and I saw it, and I was like, I have to drive this car. And if you don't know what Wheel Well is, they're a sponsor of us again. They are basically a social media destination for cars. So instead of flooding your Facebook and Twitter with all of your car stuff and your parts purchases, and your family and friends start hitting ignore your posts, and then you can't talk to anybody anymore, you go to Wheel Well, you can build your own page, your own garage, and post all that stuff there, and the community there is excited about what you're doing instead of not caring at all. And they're also opening up a shop, so if you want to buy parts for your car, you can go on there and punch in code TST, and you're going to get 15% off. They have a lot of stuff. So let's get to this. 2008 E55 AMG. When did you get it? Why'd you get it?
Yeah, it's I got it a couple years ago. I went to Sacramento. I looked at a lot of them. A lot of them are not clean, surprisingly. So I went to Sacramento. I took a look at it. It was bone stock. Went with my wife and son. Test drove it. Loved it. Went to San Francisco for a vacation, and got a transportation company to transport it down to us. I didn't want to risk it because it's a newer car. I mean, not a newer car. It's my new used car, and I didn't want to risk driving
on the 5 through Vegas.
Yeah, 8+ hours from Sacramento, down to Tahunga, which is near here. Taking a risk like that, I don't want to do that with my family. So it's been a pretty reliable car. Ever since I've had one airbag go out and my air pump for the seats, and that's it. The rest is just maintenance stuff, and that's, can't say much else about it. I mean, I've had other cars I've spent quite a bit more money on.
That's good because the used, obviously the stigma of used German car, we all know what it is.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually something to be said for the fact that you bought this and you're like, I'll have it transported down. I don't want to drive it and risk it. But if you bought a Camry, you probably would have jumped in.
I would have.
Right?
I would have.
I live with that every day.
Yeah.
we all do. But
I would have.
I think this is one of the best looking cars that Mercedes has ever built.
Yeah.
I just think they're stunning in the front. And I've never driven one, so I'm very excited. They had supercharged 5-liter in the front, came with 470 horsepower, a little over 500 foot-pounds of torque, 4,000 pounds, not crazy, and they had air suspension, which yours still has.
Yeah.
I mean, the gauges are pretty. Like, it's really, really clean in here. It's really, really nice. Yeah. You've done some mods, but we will talk about that once we're underway.
There we go.
Okay, now I got...
Just pull the emergency brake there, and then that's it pretty much.
The old school handle instead of the button.
Yeah, it's like a truck.
Yeah. And we're sitting low.
Yeah, you can go right now in Sport 1, and your transmission's in Sport mode. Transmission comfort mode, you take off in second gear.
Oh, there's... I think my camera just flew off the roof.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Did it?
Yeah. Okay. That's real bad.
Let's go back. Let's go get it. Hopefully nobody runs it over.
Hopefully. Well, I'm really glad it didn't launch into that Toyota Corolla that was heading towards us, because that would have been really, really terrible.
Oh, man.
Okay, and we're back. As I said in our little walk and talk, if you put ceramic coating on the windshield, the camera flies off. So... round 2. And I also got the year wrong. It's an 06 E55 with a 5.4 liter, not a 5 liter. Supercharged, and you have it's lowered a little bit. We'll get to all that. Oh, the seats are doing the squeeze.
You want me to turn it off?
How do you disable that?
Right there. That should turn off.
For people that don't know, Mercedes had this weird thing, I think other companies have done it too, where it's supposed to be like a dynamic seat. So as you go in a corner, the bolster increases its pressure on you to hold you in place, but it's not quick enough on the job. Like it's 5 minutes late to work all the time. So every corner, you're halfway through the corner, and then it shows up and tries to grab you, and you're like, I've already slid. It was a nice idea.
And at that point, it's kind of distracting.
Oh, completely. It's like a weird
smooth.
hand.
Like, it's not smooth. It's like, here you go. But I'm like, yeah, you're late.
You're
like,
all right, so this car has a couple of interesting, like, technological firsts. It had electro-hydraulic brakes, right? So you have an electronic switch behind the brake pedal, which many cars do now, but this was an early entrant into that. Supercharger, this was a big step for Mercedes. They had BMW, Audi were all running naturally aspirated engines, and then we got this very fun, exciting, and loud horsepower war where BMW made the V10 M5, Audi went with turbos with the RS6. We got that one. We didn't get the next one, I know. Then they made the 4.2, which is a different class of car.
Yeah.
So Mercedes went blower and made less power than the M5, but way more torque, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a torquey motor, that's for sure.
It's like 516 pounds of torque, whereas the M5 was high 300s.
Yeah.
And they're different beasts. I mean, they're totally different characters for each engine. I think, is your steering hydraulic or electric?
No, I think it's hydraulic.
It's hydraulic. It's just, it's like, it's got a lot of boost to it. So it feels like an early electric thing. All right. We got a clear road. We have the cameras still stuck to the car. Everything's working. I mean, that's got good giddy up.
Yeah, it's
Ooh, it sounds so good. Ooh, it sounds so good.
Yeah, it's a little muffled inside the car. I like to one day hear when it's when someone else is driving. I can hear it from the outside, but everybody says it's loud.
It is, man.
I'll take your word for it, that's for sure. So you're the expert for sure, but
I mean, I'm not an expert. I just have ears. But we'll cut to a drive-by, and you can watch the video and you'll hear it, and it's because you didn't go by that fast.
Yeah.
But you get on it, and all of a sudden it's got this like real deep bass tone that's it sounds like a couple of Mustangs like arguing in a tunnel, just bop, 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 bop.
It gets after I did the headers, I noticed at 3,000 RPM-ish, it'll get deep, like a deep throaty growl. Nobody else would notice it. I mean, I just noticed that because I drive the car all the time, but it does have slight exhaust leaks still. Otherwise,
I mean, you can't notice, and I guess for me, growing up like around hot rods, exhaust leaks were really noticeable. It sounded like it would sound like rain on a tin roof. It was just like tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
So if you have an exhaust leak, I don't really notice it. It just sounds like angry AMG. What have you done to this car? It's got a little the handling is interesting. It's low, so I assume to be really, really stiff.
Yeah.
But it's not. It like rolls over a little there, and then you feel it set.
Yeah, it sets. In this car, it's real critical. I don't have the best tires, but it's critical to have really good tires because of the weight. So when it sets,
the first step is knowing you have a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
So when it sets, you can really tell that you either have good tires or you don't because it's about to go. It just feels heavy, but
it does feel heavy. I mean, it is a 4,000-pound car. And one of the things I read, I have not driven a V10 M5, so if you have one, let me know. It was just a much more focused car. That was the motorsports driver's car in this class.
Yeah.
And this was, Mercedes now makes the AMG GTR Pro, and they make like the C63 AMG S. Like they make cars that handle and dance. They didn't always do that.
No.
And this is one of those cars that was before they got into like the handling game.
Yeah, they flipped. Now the other newer cars ride a little stiffer.
Yeah.
And the BMWs ride a little more smoother, softer.
Oh God, it sounds so good.
It's kind of I think they've gone the other way with it a little bit, but
it's a weird steering track? Because I know it's 2.7 turns lock to lock, so it's pretty quick. Like our U-turns were easy, but I think it's a progressive ratio, right? Like
I think it could be. I really don't know a whole lot about that. I don't.
Like there's not a lot of dead space, but it seemed like all of a sudden it was accelerating the rate of our turn.
So
once I got a little bit past, like it just like increases the ratio. Man, this sound though, any AMG, I'm so jealous of. It's so good. I mean, these are beautiful cars. The interior is really nice. I think these gauges are beautiful and will still look good in 10, 20 years. They're just like this nice kind of soft white, oh yeah, a little rain. Silver finish to them. Really, it's something Mercedes did for a long time. You got a mechanical gauge. All three gauges are mechanical. And the center console, it's not as dated, I think, as other cars that have like the phone dial buttons and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. It just hides it a little better.
The prior owner of this car had some kind of integrated. I don't know what you call it. It's like Translogic or something. They have it integrated. It's in this footwell here.
It sounds like a rave.
Yeah, it's like he integrated to the car system where you can take phone calls and make phone calls. Yeah, I know it's. And back in 2006, it was.
That was a huge deal. That was a huge deal in 2006. We still had flip phones. The iPhone wasn't out in 2006.
Yeah.
Bluetooth maybe didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna find a place to turn around. That would have been a good one.
No, it's raining.
It's definitely raining. What's the other car today? Well, the other car today is an Audi Quattro. So that's should be right at home, and it's not that fast. And then the other car is a modified GT500. Not the best rain car. Maybe it'll dry out. What else? I mean, let's see. The transmission, 5-speed automatic.
Yeah.
They called it like Mercedes Sport Shift. It had some name.
Something smart. I forgot the name of it too, but it learns your.
It learns your driving.
I mean, you'll see when you come to when you slow down, it'll downshift for you and stuff like that. Again, none of this is anything amazing. Most of these newer cars do that anyway.
But but newer cars wouldn't have it if companies like this didn't do it first.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think Clarkson said, "Ooh, rocks." If you want to know what every car is going to have in 20 years, look at what Mercedes has now.
Yeah.
There we go. Turn around right
That's
here.
That's a nice one.
This transmission would shift 30% faster than the outgoing 5-speed. It's supposed to be a little rougher.
And it seems like it needs another 30% minimum.
Well, even, a couple weeks ago I drove a 2014 C63 and it shifted really fast if you did the right thing.
Yeah.
But if you did the wrong thing, you felt the delay. And I couldn't figure out what the difference was in my foot. Maybe I sneezed. Yeah. Maybe I was like, I don't know. It was like it read your mind and it's like, oh, you're disconnected for a moment. We're not shifting. I don't know. It was very strange.
Yeah.
Little throttle lift, little throttle add, whatever.
My main quirk with this car is when you have the traction control on and you're coming out of the driveway and you got to gas it to go. Where I come out of the driveway from, for example, those are two cops.
Yep.
When I come out of the driveway, for example, I floor it and it completely cuts power for 2 seconds. And, it's a difference between you getting rear-ended and you not getting rear-ended. So it's too aggressive, the traction control system on this thing. It goes pretty well, but I still have some maintenance stuff to do with it as well. I mean, I gotta fix the weights that came off the wheel.
That's right. So 2 things. One, it wanders under braking. I just noticed.
It does.
So that's an interesting thing. And then also, shooting the beauty shots today, and Mike's like, yeah, there's a little vibration. I think one of the wheel weights fell off yesterday or something like that.
I think the all flew off is what happened because I'm driving down the freeway going home from work and I'm like, I feel a little vibration I never felt before. So I go to clean my car, for today's take, and I'm cleaning my wheels and I'm like, hey, what happened to the wheel weights? I guess it all flew off, or I don't know what happened to it.
It pulls strong though. It pulls strong. Yeah. I mean, supercharger, and you've done a pulley charge.
Yeah, it has a 76 millimeter pulley. I did something where I took it, sent out to Z Industries that did grip tech on it, where it's grippier.
Okay.
belt wrap kit to keep
gripper so the belt doesn't slip.
Yeah, they cut it in a certain way. It's like I don't know how to explain. It's like a certain cut on the pulley where the belt sits on it, and it doesn't slip off. Your actual fingers will stick to it. Wow. Where before it was just a piece of slick metal, and I was kind of surprised how the belt never slipped to begin with. How some people don't have an issue with it.
Oh, I got you.
I had a lot of issues with belt slip. As soon as you let off the throttle, it'll make that squeak noise.
Wow.
Or when you do a burnout, it'll go that squeak noise like you have belt slip all the time.
Wow.
But what you don't realize is that you have belt slip before that squeak noise and you're losing boost.
This is I mean, I don't know. Ever since I saw these when I was younger and I saw them in a magazine, I just thought it was such a cool looking shape. I just love the lights. I love the shape of it. It's just this smooth. It's got like a taut arc to it. It's not. We're in a place now where cars are super angular and everything. This is the opposite of that. I think for me, these will look good all the time and forever. And I could be critical. I mean, I have been critical about, the steering feels weird and the brakes are electromagnetic, hydraulic, and that's kind of strange.
And they are.
There's the beginning of a lot of technology that now, when electronic steering came out, we all hated it. And then Porsche designed theirs, and it's like, this is better than a lot of hydraulic racks. Yeah. So this was like a stepping stone to that. It's not perfect, but it's kind of what I expected. It sounds awesome.
It's the car is actually pretty much what I exactly expected when I bought it. I wasn't expecting any great feel to the steering, great handling car. The E63, the 07 to 09s do a little bit better job at doing that. They have a little quicker steering ratio. Their suspension's a little bit better set up. Otherwise, I bought this car just to commute in mostly and have something that's straight line. I drove a lot of M5s. I used to work at Pacific BMW in Glendale, and I had a lot of friends that had M5s, even a Supercharged M5 V10. And they're awesome cars. I can't really say anything bad about them at all. I didn't purchase an M5 due to the feedback I got from a lot of people, a lot of the owners, with the way how the transmission is and stuff. And for me, that didn't really work out too well when I thought about it, because I've driven it a couple of times, and a lot of people are not going to have issues with that. It's just my own quirk. It's just my own preference. But it's an awesome car. I mean, I can see why a lot of people would pick that car over a car like this.
Yeah.
So
it's cool that back. I mean, it seems like a lot of cars now are becoming more and more similar in their flavor. Everything does anything in a class does 0 to 60 in almost the same time and almost the same lap time. They're all usually too stiff. Like maybe they have a little bit different sound. A lot of cars have 4-liter V8s now with twin turbos. Yeah. So this is a time where you could really tell the difference. Like the Pepsi Challenge, put on a blindfold and ride in this, then an M5, and then RS6 or RS4, you would know that you were in a different car every time.
Yeah, so they all have that special characteristic of them. They never did everything except for your M3. I mean, I always call that the car that does everything really well. Bing. Yeah. So and then I think in some terms the M5 does that as well. But for the most part, a lot of cars back in those days did a couple of things really well, and other stuff up for debate. It's your preference. But nowadays, a lot of cars, because we're so picky nowadays, our generation especially, we have to have everything done well. Yeah. And it has to be a good price, and it's got to look good. It's got to do handling, steering feel, all that. It's very hard to find that in a car.
We're very high maintenance. Car people we are very high maintenance, but I think what's been good is engineers are also, they want to make the best thing they can, and they use as many tools as they have, and now technology allows them to give us cars that brake, turn, go, stop, get good gas mileage, quiet. There's arguments to be made.
And they all have to keep it in budget.
Right, and that's the hard thing. We all want a 200-mile-an-hour sedan for $20,000, but you can't. Mike, thank you for bringing this out, man. I appreciate it. This was a cool meet your hero thing, and it's what I expected it to be. I'm not disappointed by the hero I met at all. So thank you for hitting me up. And once again, guys, if you want to submit a car for a one take, just email me at thesmokingtire@gmail.com. You have to send me a wheel well link. So I'm not going to be able to review cars that are, used cars that are modified. I can't review them unless you have a wheel well page. So please send me that. And if you have a car that you want to modify, you need some parts for it, check out Wheel Well and use our discount code for TST. You get 15% off. They have way more parts than I was expecting when they first hit. They have a lot. They have suspension from all the companies you like, brakes from all the companies you like, and if you don't see a part you want, because they're kind of new to this, you can email them and they can probably get it.
So that even for this car?
They do, even for this car. So thanks for watching. See you guys later. Hope you liked it.